Hello again, folks. Yes, I'm in my other half's car again, and the reason my face looks like it's melting is because the air conditioning's gone. But I can't leave the windows down because you never know who's around lurking. There could be some Antifa kid there, and he could hear me talking sense, and next thing you know, I'm getting milkshaked or battery acid in my face, and I've got to get out the car and brunch his teeth in, and I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered today. Anyway, immigration's a massive issue. Immigration is the main issue. People voted for Brexit 6 years ago? No, 5 years ago now. 5 years. My God, how time has flown when people like Theresa May get put into a position where they deny you your democratic vote and your right and stuff like that. Anyway, immigration, it's not racist to talk about immigration. If you're against immigrants simply because they're from another country or they're a different colour, then have a word, all right? I know immigration can be detrimental. Immigration can be detrimental when it's mass immigration, because after all, you have your own people, you have your own culture, your own language, your own ways, your own laws, customs, government, way of doing things. And a mass influx of people from an alien culture can be detrimental. Of course, not all immigration is bad. You know, I'm for immigration. If you are, I don't care if you're black, brown, yellow, polka dot, your sexual orientation, gender, you identify as a fucking T-strainer, whatever. As long as you come here, you get a job, you integrate, be nice, make friends, keep to yourself, whatever, don't cause trouble, and don't expect the country to bend over backwards for you, and then you're used to society, aren't you? I'm not against that. Who could be against that, you know? Imagine a country where it's just the people who are born there. It'd be boring, wouldn't it? It's fucking boring. It's like free speech. You have the same opinions everywhere. Then it's like Twitter, and it's hostile and horrible. You need different opinions. Sadly, the lefties are entitled to theirs. You know, what a world we would live in if it was only conservatives. It wouldn't be that bad. Anyway, immigration, it's not Joe Biden syndrome. It's not racist to talk about it. Simple as that. If you have a concern, and people do have concerns these days, and it's a valid concern. It's not racist. People out there, mainly the Twitter mob, social media lefties and idiots, if you're a white person, you say, well, I don't agree with immigration, they will immediately brand you as some sort of racist, fascist, Nazi. And it's not the case most of the time. It really isn't. Now, my reasoning against mass immigration is that I believe it is detrimental towards my people, my culture, my society, everything, the social structure. It puts immense strain on the NHS. If you're on the waiting list for an operation or a treatment, whatever, when we get the extra 20,000 or so Afghans in, you'll be pushed back. You know, it's happening at the south coast of England as we speak. The other day, there was enough migrants rowing over in the dinghies to fill in a block of flats. And all this puts pressure on social services, social housing, everything. The queues get longer, prices get steeper, and jobs become scarcer. And there are some unscrupulous companies out there who will only employ people whom they know they can get away with paying a very low illegal wage to. So you have all this to think about when it comes to immigration. Of course, there are many left-wing, middle-class people, wealthy celebrities out there who would take in millions and billions of immigrants if they could, but they wouldn't have many of them, mind you. No, they're happy to bring them in and put them in single estates where pressure is mounted in those estates, and the situation then turns because you will have disadvantaged white people thinking that these people are being put in front of them for social housing, for medical care, etc. And then they turn racist, and they then run into the arms of extremist organisations. I was going to say right-wing, but right-wing doesn't mean extremist, folks. Okay, you got left and right. There's extreme on both ends. Never heard of extreme centrist, have you? How weird is that? But that's what happens. It then pushes people into the arms of the real racists and Nazis and fascists out there. But they don't think about this, you see. So now the pretty useless Home Secretary Priti Patel has come up with a plan. It's called Operation Pushback, and the idea behind this is when we have these migrants coming over illegally in their little dinghies, which they paid thousands of euros to criminals, people traffickers, people smugglers. The idea is to push them back, to use the border force to push them back, the authorities down there to push them back. But how the hell are they going to do this when the authorities are basically mostly online looking up for hurty words and hate crime, or they're too busy promoting LGBT stuff and going on gay pride events? Because that's the only time you'll see cops on the streets now here in Britain, if it's to promote some minority, diversity, multicultural thing. And that's it. You don't see a bobby on the street now in Great Britain keeping you safe, looking for crime, detecting crime, solving crime, locking criminals up, chasing criminals. It doesn't happen, and that's because they're recruiting the wrong people. And political correctness is a cancer which has seeped into the police service here in the UK. So you won't see them on the south coast pushing migrants back because it's racist. Remember, these are the same people, the same coppers, who thought they'd turn a blind eye to the Muslim grooming gangs in Rotherham, North England. Is it Midlands? North England. Because they didn't want to be seen as racist. That's the people we're dealing with now. Because you enrage the Twitter mob. The Twitter mob will always go and champion the minority, the non-white minority demographic, and if Priti Patel and the Conservatives do happen to fish out a shitload of number of cops to patrol the south coast to push these people back, then Twitter will be down there in a shot. You will have pro-migrant organisations and stuff going down there en masse to stop them, to bring them in, to beat the police up. You know, Black Lives Matter turn up down there to help migrants come over. The police run away, just like they did in London. After all, we've had people ready to deport from this country because they are detrimental to society, dangerous, vile thugs, and you've had bleeding heart lefties stop planes, stop them being deported. We've spent £600,000 in taxpayers' cash for these flights, and they never even took off. These people are still in our society when they shouldn't be here. So even though Priti Patel's idea is it's a good idea, pushing them back after all, if you want to come to this country, do it legally, all right, and have something to offer to Great Britain. Don't come here thinking it's the land of milk and honey and expect benefits and bending over backwards in a house and whatever. That'll turn people against you. All right, and why not stop at several safe countries before you get here? Because there are quite a few between the Middle East and Great Britain. Look at the EU. Is the EU that bad? Is it? Are you escaping torture from France? The EU? What the hell are they doing to you? That means they have to flee the EU to come to Great Britain. And Great Britain now is apparently a shitty country because it's not part of the EU. It doesn't make sense, does it? So, because Priti Patel and Conservatives have come up with this Operation Pushback, the French, I think it's the Interior Minister, has come out and said, oh, that is illegal. I was going to do that in a French accent then. Me being me, etc. And he said it's against international maritime law. You have to allow these people to come over because it's dangerous pushing them back against the channel, because the channel is a dangerous bit of water. And he's right there. It's the channel has a fast moving current. It's a deadly bit of water. But the French government, being the French government, and this is trending on Twitter, by the way, you can't say the French. Oh no, it's racist. You have to say the French government. But when it comes to Brexit, it's all right for them to slag off the British people for voting the wrong way. And it's okay for the French to allow these people, and I'll give a shit that the fact that there are people traffickers operating in Calais, in Dieppe, everywhere along the North French coast, taking money from these people, giving them dinghies, probably stolen boats as well, in order for them to put their lives in danger, them, their wives and kids, mostly men, by the way, notice that, to come over. But it's okay for the French to do that, but because we want to push them back and keep Britain safe and get these people to do it legally, oh no, we're bad. That's the way of thinking over there. It's nuts, isn't it? I think this is just the little manlet over there, Macron, doing what his boss, Angela Merkel, the rapist of Europe. And I'm calling her the rapist of Europe because of what she did a few years ago. She just let in millions of Syrian migrants into Germany, into the EU, open border policy, which led to Brexit. And it didn't turn out well for many European women, but that's another video for another time. And this is basically punishing Britain. They want to see Britain swamped with migrants because they probably think it's funny. They have dinners in Brussels with Guy Verhofstadt and the rest of them, the anti-British mob over there, the EU imperialists over there, the protection racket mafia mob. And they want to punish the British people for daring to vote Brexit. So they're allowing this to happen. They're allowing it. And there's nothing we can do ultimately. These people come over. They will swamp our social system, the NHS, transport, housing, and that's it. Because, you know, as a white British person, it's illegal to even talk about it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to support my channel, then please, you can buy me a beer. And until my next one, Roger Trout, comment, share, subscribe and all that. Don't forget. Toodaloo.